Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Bhira Vanachari Yamuna Bhira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Guru Jaya Jaya Guru Hari Om Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for joining today. Study of Srimad Bhagavatam. And today we'll be beginning the new chapter. Okay, so let's begin it. Raja. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyadya Deshakare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for joining the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you. So today we'll begin with the new chapter. This is a very, very beautiful chapter. The chapter is entitled as the passing away of Bhishmadev in the presence of Krishna. Lord, this is important. There are so many devotees who passed away, but in presence of Krishna, that is something most auspicious. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, whoever departs from this world, remembering me, will attain my abode. So if you're seeing Krishna, obviously we will remember Krishna. There is no question about it. It's a very, very, very beautiful. And in the first purport, first words of the first purport, Prabhupada reveals the secret of these particular chapters. So we'll see that. So very, very amazing. Okay. So this chapter is divided into various things. But the most important, the heart of this chapter is from verse number 32 to 43. This is called Bhishma Stuti, the prayers of Bhishmadev. So here, Bhishmadev, before leaving this material body, he is remembering, he's giving prayers, offering prayers to Lord Krishna. And that is most auspicious. Very good. This is the heart of this entire conversation in this entire chapter that we will see. So, and it is also sung very beautifully. You all can sing it, when it comes. We'll recite whenever we meet, when they start, every day we'll sing before beginning this. So you all can, it's like our prayers to Lord Krishna, what Bhishmadev has sung. That we may not have that qualification or that knowledge to sing that glories of Krishna, but at least if we recite repeat the words of Mahabhagavat, or Bhishmadev is none other than Mahajan. He is Mahajan, one of the 12 Mahajan. So if you just recite what he sang, we also will be able to please the Guru and Gauranga. So with that mood, we'll begin today's chapter. So before beginning, I would like to pray that anything that we are going to discuss today is all from our Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, the translation, and other books that I refer to. Nothing is mine, so all the glory is to them in this. If there is any mistake, it will be solely mine. So with that, I would like to pay my gratitude to all the devotees who I listen to and who I take inspiration from. Please bless me so I can speak the right word to inspire all of us. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Hare Krishna. So I'm very grateful to the young participants, Kavish and Priyansh, who also comes. These days they have got taste, so which is very nice. And whenever I see younger children taking up this Krishna consciousness process, it really inspires me. It's very nice to see. At least we see that it is also mentioned that if you are able to preserve few generations from now, we can continue to be in Sanatana Dharma, or it will just deplete, it will just go away. So we will make sure that we pass on the knowledge that we are relishing to our next generation as well. So I'm very happy. Thank you, Priyansh and Kavish, for coming. Thank you very much. So in this first verse, Maharaj Yudhishthira is going, he wishes to go to the Kurukshetra, where the war was fought. Everything is done, he has won, he's made the king of the Hastinapur and the king of the world. He's there, but he has a desire to go to the war zone where the war took place. And millions of people died. We saw 650 million in 18 days. So it was a big massacre, a big war. Okay, so let us recite this verse. Suta uvacha.
Suta Uvacha.
Iti bhitaha prajado drohat.
Iti
Sarvadharma vivisaya. Tato vinasham pragada. Yatra deva vrato patat. Can you please read translation?
Sure. Translation. Sutta Goswami said, being afraid for having killed so many subjects on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Maharaj Yudhishthira went to the scene of the massacre. There Bhishmadev was lying on a bed of arrows, about to pass away. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here one important point is there. Maharaj Yudhishthira went to the scene of massacre. So in today's world, wherever the war is happening, the commander, leader, where are they? They are sitting in air-conditioned room and say, okay, do this, do that. They are not in the war zone. They are miles away from the actual war zone. They are not there. And that anybody could do, right? I mean, I'm not afraid of that. No missile is going to come and no bullet will come. So I can say, hey, go ahead, no, go there. You can go there. Go from here. It's very good to say from air-conditioned room, seeing things and you can guiding people. But we are in a war zone. Every moment matters. right? One step here and there wrong and you are finished. But earlier days in Dwapar, Treta and Satyug, this was not the case. The captain, the leader would actually go and fight. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was actually there in fighting, right? He was fighting. So that's a difference we see. In Kali Yuga, people don't want to go there. They say, no, you go, you go. That's the mentality people have. But here it is very different. So that's something we should learn, that leader is always one who leads from the front, not telling people, go, you go. No, I will go in and you come. That's how the leader is. So all the translation and purport by our beloved and founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Purport. So here, Srila Prabhupada summarized the chapter in the first sentence. What he says? In this 9th chapter, as it is willed by Lord Shri Krishna, Bhishmadev will impart instruction to King Yudhishthira on the subject of occupational duties. So here, we need to understand some of the words here. Is willed by Lord Krishna. Means what? Krishna is making sure that this happens through Bhishmadev. That we saw in the last chapter when Yudhishthira Maharaj was lamenting. No, Krishna, I mean, yes, don't go. And then Prabhupada writes in the purport, why? Why he was not able, why Krishna was able to stop by Yudhishthira? Krishna can do anything. But he was stopped by Yudhishthira because Krishna wanted Bhishmadev to give instruction to Yudhishthira Maharaj so that world will know that how great his devotee Bhishmadev is. That's why he did that. Now that's why Prabhupada is making this point again, that Bhishmadev want to give instruction, but on the will of Krishna. So this makes us understand that anything that happens in this world, there is a Krishna's hand. We should not think we are doing, we are not the doers actually. We are just an instrument, right? If you think that, if you start writing with a pen thinks, no, I'm writing. No, if somebody holds a pen and start, and then it will flow, otherwise it's not. So we are just like an instrument. But the heart of the chapter is what is there in the second sentence by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, Bhishmadev will also offer his last prayer. He's going to offer his last prayer to the Lord on the verge of passing away from this mortal world and thus become liberated from the bondage of further material engagements. Bhishmadev was endowed with the power of living his material body at will, and his laying down on the bed of arrow was his own choice. So Bhishmadev had a choice when to depart. Right? He had ichha mrityu. जब चाहे तब शरीर छोड़ के जा सकते. So, but he decided to go at particular time and point, right? So now, Krishna is in everyone's heart, right? Krishna is in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says this verses, right? Sarvasya chaham hridhi sannivishto, and aham sarvasya prabhu. I'm there everywhere. I'm in everyone's heart. Krishna is confirming this. So is there a need for Krishna to come? Yes, there is a need for Krishna to come. Many times people say, right, I don't go to temple. No, why? Oh, Krishna is Bhagwan sab jagah hai. I can see everywhere. I can, hear somewhere. So why I have to go? I don't have to go to temple, right? But when you go to temple, when you see the deities, we feel connection. We feel attraction. Right? When we see tree and all that, yes, Krishna is there in all those things. But do we feel that connection? We don't feel that. So therefore, we should always visit temples to bring that connection alive. And it's all dry. Bhakti is never dry. Bhakti is with a lot of enthusiasm. It's got a lot of rasa in that. So Krishna says, I'm everywhere. And Bhishmadev had the opportunity. I mean, he had a boon that he can leave anytime. Does anyone of us have that opportunity? We don't have. We don't know when we are going to die. Right? It could be this moment, it could be 1 year, 10 years, we don't know. So therefore, we should fix ourselves into bhakti, into Krishna consciousness, so that when the time comes, we will be able to remember Krishna. Right? Because when Yaksha had asked Yudhishthira Maharaj, what is the biggest Kim Ascharya? He says, what is the biggest surprise? What is the biggest wonder in this world? So he says, this is the one he says, Ahani Ahani Bhutani
Bhutani
Gachanteha Yamalayam
Gachanti Hayam
Shesha Sthavaram Ichchati
Shesam
Kimascharya Atha Param.
Kim
Yes, Robert, can you please read translation?
Yes. Every moment people are dying, but those who are living are thinking, my friend has died, but I shall live forever. This is the most wonderful thing in the world.
So everybody is dying, but we are not afraid of death in terms, I'm going to live for more years. I have so much time. Yeah, I will read tomorrow. I will read tomorrow. Maybe next week. Maybe next year I'll start. We always have habit of procrastination. We want to delay things, especially which is something good for us, but it is not palatable, right? Like reading scripture. It's not very, it's not unless we have developed tests, it is not joyful. It's like they are forcing, but we have to force sometimes, right? If there's a disease, then if the doctor gives a medicine, which is bitter, we have to still take it because then the cure will happen. Otherwise, we'll be sick. So we are in the material world, everyone is sick. Nobody is healthy, right? In fact, Prabhupada used to say, I'll put a statement and then let's discuss about this point. So the statement will come from Srila Prabhupada. It is in the purport, okay? Not in this chapter, but in the Bhagavatam's purport. So now tell me whether the statement is pessimistic or optimistic. Prabhupada says, devotee always expects calamities. Means always expecting problems in life. Is it optimistic or pessimistic? Okay. You have to justify. It's not a true or false kind of thing. You have to say, okay, now optimistic people. Whoever said that, now tell me why it is optimistic.
With calamity from the devotees, they can confidently remember Krishna.
Okay. Continue to remember Krishna. Okay. What
They
else?
travel, they need help from Krishna.
The help from Krishna. Okay.
They are not living in this fog that nothing is going to happen.
Utopian world kind of thing.
Yeah,
Right?
they know calamities
Will happen. Yes. Yes. Yeah.
We should go back to God.
Yes. Absolutely. Because when we have problem, then we'll remember Krishna. Right? So in Bhagavatam and other places, there are references given. What Bhagavatam says? Padam padam yat vipadam natesham. Every moment there is a danger. Every walk. It's like you are walking in a war zone and there are mines which are mounted, right? If you put a foot, then you're blown and gone, right? Blast. Same thing. Padam padam yat vipadam. Every moment there is a danger. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. This is Dukkhalaya. We are going to have Dukkha only in this world. Then Govinda Das Kavira says, Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Talamala. Meaning, like, when you put a drop on the lotus flowers leaf, what happens? It immediately just drops. If it is there, it will immediately goes away. Our life is like that. It's a moment. It will just finish. It will just go away. Life is Kamala Dala. That's why he says Kamala Dala Jivana Talama. So here, therefore, we should always remain up, thinking that let there be a calamities. Once, our Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Singh Maharaj was asked, Maharaj, this statement looks to be very pessimistic. So Radhanath Singh Maharaj says, no, this is the most optimistic statement by Srila Prabhupada. He says, why? He says, let's take an example. Okay. He says that, let's say there is a hurricane is coming and we have, weather app and we can find out there is a issues are going to happen. Then what can we do? We can take shelter in the basement, cover ourselves, don't go out, loose items can be removed. All those things we can take care. We can protect ourselves, right? Now, if hurricane comes, then no problem. Why? Because we've already taken precautions and we are in the basement and everything is fine. Some damage will happen, but we are safe. If hurricane doesn't come, still no problem. We have prepared ourselves, so we are fine, no problem. That is the devotee's mentality. And the materialistic people mentality, oh, nothing is going to happen. I'm always want to be happy. things are going to be good only all the time. So when little bit of problem comes in the life, they become depressed. They say, oh, what is this? This is not, I didn't expect this. But if you expect problem, then there is no problem. Because yeah, that's going to happen, right? If you are traveling from here to airport and we see it's going to be like traffic jam, we expect it. So we leave a little early and there's no anxiety. If you are unprepared, then you get a shock. Oh, in the Uber itself, we are getting perspiration, though it is air conditioned. Thinking, oh, I'm losing my flight. I'm going to miss my flight. Those kind of things can happen. So when we are prepared, in Hindi they say "Jor ka jhatka, dheere se laga," meaning that if the bigger impact will just feel like some tapping on your shoulder, something like that. That's what it says. So devotee is always prepared for calamities. So that's how we can understand. In fact, this bhajan is very nice. We can sing this bhajan, but let's see if we can sing this bhajan. See, this is what here, this third stanza. So let's read this third. Can you read Vikas book? Third
Yeah.
one? Yeah.
Third, right? So it's the third point.
Yes.
What assurance of real happiness is there in all of one's wealth, youthfulness, sons and family members? His life is tottering like a drop of water on a lotus petal. Therefore, you should always serve and worship the divine feet of Lord Hari.
Hare Krishna. So life is just like that. Moment a drop of water falls on the lotus leaf, it just goes away, runs away immediately. Our life is like that. We think we are 100 years and all, but compared to Brahma's life,
Moment.
is even insignificant. Similarly, we think we are going to live long. Similarly, mosquito whose life is 14 days, they think, oh, I'm living. They have lived everything. They also have lived, they grew, they had a grandchildren, everything happened in 14 days. And there are insects which have like, few hours of life. There are insects who have few hours.
Like 300 years.
Yeah, tortoise will live 300, 400 years. So it is like that. So we should not think that we are going to live forever. It's a very dangerous thing to think about it. So this bhajan is very nice. We can just sing quickly. You all can see this. Or if you can pull up, you can just look for this bhaja hure mana, and you can pull up in KK songs if you like. So let's sing this bhajan. It's a very nice bhajan. Bhaja hure mana Shri Nandana Bhaya Charanara Hure mana Shri Nandana Durlabha Manava Janaka Sange Tarahore Bhava Sindhure Durlabha Manava Sange Tarahore Bhava Sindhure Sita Atapa Patabari Jana Edita Jamini Jati Sita Atapa Patabari Jana Edita Jamini Jati Bifale se vino kripa durjana Chapala Sukala Bala Bifale se vino kripa durjana Chapala Sukala Bala Edina Edinayo Yedanayo Vana Putra Parijana Ite ki ache parati Edanayo Putra Parijana Ite ki ache parati Kamala Dala Jala Jivana Kalamana Bajahu Hari Padani Kamala Dala Shavana Kirtana Smarana Pada Devana Shavana Kirtana Smarana Pada Devana Pujana Sakhijana Atmanirena Govinda Dasara Vilasane Govinda Dasara Vilasane Bhagavu Any moment our life can be lost. Therefore, continuously we should bhaj Hari. We should remember Lord Hari. This is such an important thing. In fact, here another point which is mentioned that Krishna goes to give darshan to Bhishma Pitama because Bhishma Pitama is his great devotee, is Mahajan. So he wants to make sure that he goes. And also, Bhishma Pitama had a desire that I want to leave my body by seeing Krishna. He had a desire. So that desire also getting fulfilled by Krishna going there. So great devotees, they are always very humble, very humble. They have so much humility, and that is one of the greatest quality the devotee can have. If you are not able to cultivate humility, then it's very difficult to do bhakti, because then we'll become proud. For any small thing, we'll become proud. I'm reaching on time, we will get pride. I'm doing this service, we'll become proud. 5 people will recognize us, we'll become proud. We remember some shloka, we'll become proud. We are playing nice kartal, mudang, harmonium, we'll become proud. Small thing. So humility is one of the very important quality that we all can develop. And other important thing is that when the devotee desires, Krishna fulfill. Like Dhruv Maharaj. When Dhruv Maharaj was leaving to Vaikuntha, the airplane came to take him. And he remembered that his mother, Suniti, had, he was remembering, hey, what happened to my mother? Where is she? He says, no, I cannot come until you bring my mother. And Vishnu says, no, see, your mother is already going to Vaikuntha. Her plane is already ahead of you. So please come. Then he comes. And in that shlokas purport, Prabhupada writes some wonderful things. So let's see this. So here, we should always be at peace with the devotees. This is important. Every devotee. Okay. Because we never know when we will die and who will be next to us. We don't know, right? So Bhakti Siddhanta Sarvajit Thakur used to say, let me not wish for anything but the highest good for my worst enemy. Now this is such a difficult thing to do. Little bit of agitation and we start thinking about someone and not so good things, isn't it? It's a fact of life. And Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj says, the key to Goloka Vrindavan lies in the hands of your worst enemy. If somebody says, the key is with this person, now I don't speak to him, what happens? How can I ask for a key now? Isn't it? So therefore, we should never have enmity against anyone. Because it is between him and Krishna eventually. Right? Whatever that person is doing, good, bad, whatever, it is between him and Krishna. Why should I get in between? My relationship should not get spoiled because of someone else with Krishna. I will continue to do my bhajan. Because if I'm dying and I have a devotee who I'm not doing, I don't have a good relationship with, he may not be able to support me at that time, right? So we should always be thinking that I want to make peace with everyone, anybody and everybody. Wherever we have a difficulty in our life, we should make peace immediately. We should say sorry, forgive us, whatever. That doesn't, it will not make us small. It will not make us small. We should immediately think that, okay, and then forget about it. Forget the topic and do bhajan nicely. So, and the important thing is that when we are dying, somebody needs to chant. Somebody should read Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Because many times when people die, they are not able to speak. One of my friend's father, he fell down in India before I came here, and then he had a brain hemorrhage. So he went into coma. And coma means what? Person does nothing. He just body is just breathing. He become like a potato and just breathing. Nothing else. He cannot even speak a word. So even if he was a devotee, he cannot even chant. So what? Somebody else has to chant, right? So that the word goes and things can happen. Because in Mukundamala Sutra, this verse comes. This is a very beautiful verse, dear devotee. Please recite and remember this verse. This is such an important. This reminds us our condition at the time of death. This reminds us of our condition, probable condition at the time of death. You know, Kurukshetra is write this verse. So let us read it. Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja Panjaratmam. Krishna Tvadiya Pada Pankaja Panjarantam. Adyeva me vishatu manas rajahamsa. Manas rajahamsa. Prana prayana samaye kapavata pitte. Kantavarodhana vidho smaranam kudase. Yes, can you please read? Yeah, go ahead.
O Lord Krishna, at this moment let the royal swan of my mind enter the tangled stem of the lotus of your feet. How will it be possible for me to remember you at the time of death when my throat will be choked up with mucus, bile, and air?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. This is what happens when you're dying. Is no control. We cannot speak. So we have to remember all the time. Now question may come that, oh, if I'm not able to remember Krishna, what happens to a devotee who has been chanting and all that? So in Varaha Puran there is a shlok which confirms that if devotee has been doing bhakti whole his life very sincerely, right? And at the time, if the devotee is not able to take the name of the Lord, then Krishna himself comes to take. Krishna himself comes. So we should not think that, like for example, Bhakti Charu Maharaj, when he was, caught up in COVID and then he was in ventilator and then he left his body, right? But definitely he has gone back to Godhead, right? Because he has been such a wonderful devotee, amazing how nicely he served Srila Prabhupada. So these are all proof that things can happen. So we have at no point in time we should think that I'm going to live forever. We should think that how I may die at any moment, and accordingly we should live our life. That means I have to make peace with everybody immediately. I don't know whether tomorrow that person may not be there, I may not be there. If that person may go away somewhere, I have to go away somewhere. Why wait for that, right? One incident I'll narrate. His Holiness Radhanaswami Maharaj, when Bhakti Tirth Swami left his body in Gitanagari, this is 1980s, right? After all the last rites and everything was over, then he came to India. He flew from US to India, and the plane was about to land in Mumbai, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Terminal, international terminal. And pilot announced that the control system has failed and the flight is going to land at very high speed. So when the Maharaj saw from the window, he says all the ambulance, everything on both the side of runway was fully with ambulance and fire engine, everything was there. and the red light flashing because it's a warning, right, on the that. And Maharaj says, usually I chant, throughout the travel. That's what sadhus will do in the flight. No TV, nothing of that sort. He was chanting. But he says, that was the best chanting that I ever happened. Best chanting that ever happened in my life. I was chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare. And he was continued focus on 100 Krishna. But then also he said, I was confident that I'm not going back to Godhead. And devotee asked, why Maharaj, why do you say that? He said, because nobody knew that I'm going to die. For a Bhaktitit Maharaj, when he was leaving his body, whole world knew. And there are devotees, thousands of devotees in Gita Nagari chanting Hare Krishna, Mahamantra along with him. Besides Bhaktitit Maharaj, he says, there is nobody knew. I am in the flight. And if I die, nobody will know also. And at that time, we did not have WhatsApp and all that. Those community system was not there in 1980s. So there was no information of him being in the plane except for a few people who knew. So he says nobody knew. And he says it was most precarious situation that I was in. And I was sure I'm not going back to Godhead. That was the realization. So yeah, so that's what the meditation comes in. Very important, dear devotees, that we should always think that let there be devotees, my friends, my devotees who should come and chant when I'm leaving my body. Let them be beside me. They can read Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita with me. That's the most important thing that we could do for anyone. If somebody is leaving, we should pray. If somebody says, right, a message comes, somebody is leaving, please pray. Definitely we should pray. Pray to Krishna. It doesn't take much time. One round chanting for that devotee. One round. 7 to 8 minutes of our whole life we are giving that one person. Krishna will see all these things. In fact, Prabhupada says in the purport of that Dhruv Maharaj, where he says, I want, who can read? Kavish, can you read this? Too small for you? Please.
Sometimes I think that even though I'm crippled in many ways, if one of my disciples becomes as strong as Dhruva Maharaj, that he will be able to carry me with him to the Kundala.
Loka. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Brother. So this is humility. Prabhupada is saying, I'm crippled, I don't know. But if somebody has become a pure devotee because of my preaching, at least he will take me. So we have to find this, huh? We have to find somebody who is pure, who will take me, who will chant with me. So who is that person? Could be anybody. Could be sitting here. Could be in temple. We don't know. Therefore, we should always we should be in the prayerful mood. Always have a very amicable, very good relationship with anybody and everybody. Everybody. Very important. See, there is an acronym called CAR. C-A-R. So I'll explain what it means. When there's a conflict, okay, that happens, right? Within devotee, non-devotee, this is a standard thing because this world is of this Kali Yuga has got two important qualities. People are quarrelsome and they are hypocrite. So this is the quality of people in this world, in this yuga. So car means what? When there is something like that, one is change. Change means we have to change, not other person. Okay. Whenever conflict happens, what happens? I want you to change. I want him to change. I want her to change, not me. We want to be like this. We think we are perfect, right? That's the mood everybody has. So car means change. We have to be change. Second is if you cannot change, then we accept. Certain relationship we cannot change. We have to accept. Now spouses, we cannot change spouse now. That's it's gone. Time is over. So we have to accept. All right, chalo, let it go on. If that doesn't happen, then R. R means remove. Now, in case of other certain relation, we cannot remove ourselves, right? So one is withdraw. Like, in a outside relationship, we can remove. Means just stay away. Don't be involved in that. If that doesn't happen, then another R is called rise. rise in our bhakti high. Means do your duties nicely and rise above those things. And that's what will happen. That's how we should handle conflicts that happens within devotees. Because conflicts are the one disease that can derail our bhakti big time. Big time. So we should never have conflict. This is what all the acharyas are teaching. If you are following the footsteps of our acharya, we'll always be protected. We will always be protected. Mahajano yena katha sapanta. Always follow the footsteps of Mahajan and then we'll be protected. And in terms of we should always read Prabhupada's book all the time. And His Grace Radhesham Prabhu was mentioning once that how we should read books. Right? So he says we should read 20% of our reading should be books about Srila Prabhupada and 80% Prabhupada's book. Because when we read books about Srila Prabhupada, then we develop love for Srila Prabhupada. Oh, he did so much. How much sacrifice he has done. How much he has done and all those things. And then we will get taste for his books. Like when we develop love for a writer or an author, then we read his books, right? So that's what we should do. In fact, a few days ago, I'm in other WhatsApp group where I'm in a college WhatsApp group. So I don't read much, but that day somebody sent a video and they say ISKCON sent money from India to US and all those stuff, all the world videos become somehow picked up. Then there was an argument. So I was telling this is not true. This is, it was Rajiv Dixit person who was putting the video. And I said he was uninformed, he was misinformed. That's why he spoke like that. And then others said, no, I have seen it in my city. There's a temple being built and people are giving big donation and they're all going, what is this? What are we talking? It is not like that. I had to explain them. And then he said, I don't believe you. I don't trust what you're saying. I said, no, that's how every temple is independent body. There's nothing money goes here and there. Prabhupada found it in US because in Indians, nobody wanted bhakti the way it was given. So Prabhupada went here and said, okay, now you take this foreign item. You take bhakti. That's how people took it of bhakti. And they still think some people have brainwashed and they have no information. They think that this is an US temple. What is US temple? The headquarters is in Mayapur in India. Founder Acharya is Indian. Where is international? This a name is given like that. So sometimes people have this misinformation. Then I wrote him that you think in ISKCON is sending money to US. In fact, every citizen of India is sending money to US because in the morning you start shaving with Gillette, which is US company. You brush with Colgate. You drive, Mercedes or BMW. Where is money going? Money all going abroad because of this usage. You start using Indian products. Then there was no response after that. So just close there. But thing is that people are misinformed about these things. So therefore we should develop love for Srila Prabhupada. These are some wonderful books. There are many more. I just put few out there. But they are amazing books. We should read all this and then develop love for Srila Prabhupada. That how much, because we have not seen Prabhupada. We can only see him by reading. When these books are being read, then we can see, oh, how much he did. Because small pastimes are given here by each and every devotee. Amazing. This book specifically, the friends of, this book is such an amazing book. Our Srila Prabhupada, friend to all. This book is about a devotee, a foreign, Mataji, US Mataji. She was disciple of Srila Prabhupada. She went to Vrindavan and she interviewed the people in Vrindavan, the different sadhus and devotees, and they spoke about Srila Prabhupada. Astonishing revelation that we will find. Our love for Srila Prabhupada will increase 1,000 times by reading this. It has got small stories about how the different devotees had an interaction with Srila Prabhupada and what all he did. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. You should read all these books. It's very nice. I have these books, so if somebody is interested, I can use that for reading. Okay. So let's go to next verse. So now we are taking a little long time, but I hope it is. So now he's accompanied by other people. Who are that? Let's read this. Tada te bhratarah sarve
Tada te
sadashvai swarana bhushite
Sata
anvagachan rathai vipra vyasa dhomyadyasa tatha. Can you please read us? So now sometimes we feel that somebody is living body. Why you should be decorating ourselves? Krishna is saying they are beautiful chariot and decorated with gold and all those things, right? Is something why it is like that. So we'll see that in the next purport. Prabhupada explains why it is. This is important point that we should remember. In fact, in our village also, when some senior, like somebody who dies after 80 years, 90 years, and all that, in fact, there is a celebration in our village. People dress up very well and they celebrate. I mean, their point is that he has lived his life, he has seen everything, enjoyed, and now he's going. So it's like a celebration. Somebody young dies, then there is a time to have a grief, saying that oh, it's a young person died. But for some very senior elder, then there is a celebration. People will dance and all those stuff like that in our village. So that's what happens. But yeah, so we should always have this dressing up well. Will come in the next. We will talk about that. It's important to know that. So other thing is that here one thing we can understand that many times these kind of nice dress and all that, sometimes we develop attachments with these things. So there's a question now. How do we know if we are attached or not? Something we have. It could be anything. It could be family member, it could be car, material thing, our house, wealth. How do we know if we are attached or not to something?
we are attached by default.
Of course, we are attached, but there has to be way to find out whether you're attached or not.
If you lose the damage, you are sad.
Ah,
You get
yes,
angry,
yes,
agitated, yeah.
yes. Narenji is saying right. Yes, when we lose it, then we feel agitated. So that's a praman. That if we are fine, it's okay. It was there. I use it now. It's no longer there. It's fine. And we remain same, right? Then that is how it is. So example comes in Bhagavatam, right? Where Amrish Maharaj was about to lose his life, his life. He's a grahastha. He has got kingdom, wealth, beautiful family, everything is there. He's not afraid of death when Durvasa Muni brings the fire demon. His own life was in jeopardy, but he was not at all disturbed. He said, no problem. But when Durvasa Muni life was taken, he was running from planet to planet. Brahmaji, please save me. Lord Shiva, please save me. Vishnuji, please save me. He was renounced. He was renounced order. He was wearing kopin and moving here and there, but he was still attached to his body. Amrish Maharaj was not. So we can identify with this, as Narenji mentioned, that if something is there which is taken away from us, how we feel at that time. That is a degree of attachment we have. So that's what we should think. So in this other thing, when Krishna is, they're dressed up nicely. So question is, when does Krishna tells devotees to dress nicely? Any incident from Bhagavatam where Krishna tells his devotee to dress up nicely? Any reference anybody can think of? Okay. One more hint. It's in 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Huh? Yes, Govardhan Lila, correct. Govardhan Lila, see here. I have got this purple here. Let's see this. So, who is that? Okay, Akshay, can you please read this highlighted one? Hare Krishna. So Krishna told everybody, get ready, dress up nicely. So we should also be always dressed up nicely. Always. You know, so that if some devotee comes somewhere, we can welcome him nicely and we don't have to be worried about it. Krishna can come anytime. We should be dressed up nicely. So this is something that we can learn from all this. Okay. So we'll go to verse number 3. So he was accompanied by various people. So when a great devotee leaves the body, many people come because they all want to see how that body will be left, right? They all want to glorify. Like Srila Bhakti Tirtha Swami left his body. Radhana Swami Maharaj was there next to him. Many other disciples were there. They are doing kirtan. Devotees are traveling from all over the world to see Maharaj take his last darshan. And Gita Nagari was converted into like a Vrindavan. Everybody is chanting. So beautiful, very effulgent. And similarly, when Srila Prabhupada left, Prabhupada who left Vrindavan so that he can bring people to Vrindavan, in his last days, 3 months he was in Vrindavan. In the month of Kartik, he left his body. Such an auspicious departure, right? Surrounded by all the devotees. And devotee wanted to come. Prabhupada says, is final order. Anybody who wants to come and see me, let them come. So all those who could visit Vrindavan, they all went to Sri Srila Prabhupada. So Krishna arranges all these things. This is the nature of Krishna, to please the devotees, to take care of the devotee, to glorify the devotees. Most important is the glorification of the devotee will happen that, oh, he is left like that. Like Kadamba Kanan Maharaj who left recently. So what a beautiful departure in Vrindavan. And when we see his singing bhajan a few weeks ago, it's absolutely, we can see not a single sign of worry on his face. He's blissful. He's doing kirtan so blissfully, amazingly beautiful. He's becoming even more and more effulgent. We see his, skin is shining and all that at the time of departure. And he knows that I'm going to die. He knows I'm going to die. Still no problem. So that's how the devotees are. Okay, let's go to verse number 3. Let's read this. Bhagavan api viprarshe Ratena sa dhananjaya Satair vayorachata Vayo Sataivya Rochata Nrupaha Kuvera Iva Guyakai.
O sage among the Brahmanas, Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, also followed, seated on a chariot with Arjuna. Now, King Yudhishthira appeared very aristocratic, like Kuvera, the Bhagavatam, and the Yoka.
So here, see now the purport Prabhupada writes. That's what we want to see, right? Lord Sri Krishna wanted the Pandavas to be present before Bhishmadev in the most aristocratic order so that he might be pleased to see them happy at the time of his death. So now Bhishmadev, what was Bhishmadev's vision? That Yudhishthira Maharaj should be made king. Internally, he always wanted that to happen. Somehow that did not happen and this war took place. But now that he will see, oh, he'll be very happy. That's why Krishna says, dress well in your most aristocratic dressing. And comparison is given with Kuber. Kuber is the richest demigod, right? Kuber is the richest of all the demigods, and here in King Yudhishthir appeared like him, Kuber. For the possession, along with Sri Krishna, was quite appropriate to the royalty of King Yudhishthir. So this is how it is that Yudhishthir Maharaj had never had any attachment. When he was in forest, no problem. When he became a king, no problem. He had no issue at all. Therefore, he was not attached to the position that I'm going to be a king, I'm going to be heir of this kingdom, nothing of that sort. Right? So similarly, we can also develop this kind of detachment with the material things, with the family, with the things that we possess, all those things that is being talked about. Because if we are, to the degree we are attached to this world, we are expected to come back in this material world. We will come back, for sure. There is no guarantee that we will not come back. We will always come back, 100%. Okay, so let's go to the next verse. Bhishmadev is seeing Bhishmadev, what happens? Let's see. Trista nipatitam bhoma devastyutam ivamaram pranemu pandava bhishmam sanuga saha chakrina.
Bhisma lying on the ground like a demigod fallen from the sky. The Pandava king Yudhishthira, among with his younger brothers and Lord Krishna, bowed down before him.
Hare Krishna. So now one may think it is mentioned that even Lord Krishna bowed down before. Krishna is Bhagavan, but still he bowed down. Right? So this is so Lord is teaching through his behavior, through his actions. They are teaching, because Krishna says, "Bhagavad Yad Yad Acharati Shrestha." Right? Whatever the great person does, the people will follow that. So in purport, Prabhupada writes, Lord Krishna was also a younger cousin of Maharaj Yudhishthir, as well as the intimate friend of Arjuna. But all the family members of the Pandavas knew Lord Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. The Lord, although conscious of his supreme position, always behaved in a humanly custom. And so he also bowed down before the dying Bhishmadev, as if he were one of the younger brother of King Yudhishthir. Hare Krishna. So this is how we should always think. Krishna is doing his Narvat Leela as a humanly pastimes he is doing here. And therefore, he is exactly doing like what a human would do. So that means he's teaching all of us as human that what we should do in such a situation when they happen to be in our lives. Right? So we should always respect the elders in terms of age. We should also respect those who are senior in terms of knowledge. Right? So when we see, for example, Amrinda Prabhu, he's like 30 years. So, but he may be younger than all of us, right? Then we should still respect him because he is much superior in terms of knowledge, right? So that's how we should do. Always think like that. We should respect people not just because of the age, because respecting based on age is a knowledge of is a sign of Kanishta Bhakta. But if you want to become Uttam Bhakta, then we bow down to everybody. Spiritual knowledge, advancement, and all this. This is important. Now, after this, the theme is going to change. From verse number 5 to 11, we are talking about all the great souls who come to witness the departure of Bhishmadev. So we'll read this verse number 5 and then we'll stop. because 6 and 7 is a very long purport. It goes into like 3-4 pages. So we may not be able to cover today because it's a very long purport. Yeah, it's like 7-page purport. So we may not be able to go there.
We'll do bhajan Vilas.
We'll sing bhajan after that. Vilas will be here. So after this verse, we'll do some bhajan. But because you won't spend time on this thing. If you rush, then we'll not enjoy it. Okay.
I
So
only know.
let's read verse number 5. Tratra brahmarshaya sarve devarshayascha sattam rajarshayascha tatrasan drastum bharata pungavam. Yes, Pujan, please.
Just to see the chief of descendants of King Bharata, Bhishma, all the great souls in the universe, namely the rishis amongst the demigods, brahmanas and kings, all situated in the quality of goodness, were assembled there.
So every devotees, all the rishis, great rishis, everybody came. Narad Muni, Vyasa, Dhaumya. Dhaumya Rishi was the Rishi of Pandavas, the Guru of Pandavas. He also came there. So we can see that all the great personalities, they came. Purport. The rishis are those who have attained perfection by spiritual achievements. Such spiritual achievements can be earned by all, whether one is a king or a mendicant. Bhishma Dev himself was also one of the Brahma rishis and the chief of the descendants of King Bharata. All rishis are situated in the quality of goodness. All of them assembled there on hearing the news of the great warrior's impending death. So here we see. So when we see, it's not like that we hire people to come and cry. We saw in one of the chapter, right? That Udali, where people hire, some big person has died, nobody's going, but they bring the people by paying and say, come and cry. So more people will come and cry. They say, oh, this was a great person. But in reality, it is not. Material world is like that, where people want to show off. Even after somebody is dead, they want to show he was a great person. He may not be. But here, without, everybody came. Everybody came. When Parishit Maharaj was leaving his body, everybody, so many devotees were there. And Sukdev Goswami was speaking Srimad Bhagavatam, thousands of devotees were there. So when the great devotees depart from this world, it's like a festival. Everybody will come. They want to take the last darshan and pray for that devotee. We want to pray for that devotee also. Not just take darshan, but we want to pray for that. And that way we get a lot of sukruti. These sukrutis are something that we need to keep gathering in our lives. Whenever we get an opportunity, pray for person. Yes, let's pray. Oh, this Gurudev is having, some surgery. Please pray. We get that message. Pray. What we can do? Chant one round. Pray to Krishna. That Krishna, please let the surgery be successful. And things like that. When we do that, this good sukruti will come to us. Because when we pray, Krishna becomes very pleased because we are not asking for ourselves. In that prayer, we are becoming selfless, right? We are asking for somebody else. So Krishna, please take care of this devotee. He's been struggling like that. So we get that benefit. And this sukruti only helps us to stay into bhakti. This sukruti, Krishna makes sure that we become, stable. Slowly, he'll make the road stable for us. We have to keep gathering these things. Like, in a video game, it's all virtual. They have to collect some points. Here you get some points. They keep collecting points after points, right? So similarly here, we have to keep collecting these spiritual sukrutis. Very, very important. for bhakti. Very important. When we hear this, please pray for this. We don't know who the devotee is. Either good, bad, we have no idea about it. But if you have that message, spend 5 minutes. If you cannot chant one round, at least pray 2 minutes to Krishna. But Krishna, I got this message. I don't know this devotee, but if you feel, please bless this devotee. Give him, right place in your world. We can pray. Just pray a little bit of prayer. Okay, so we will read from the verse number 6 onwards next week because it's a very long purport. And basically, in that, what is happening is that all the great rishis and all sadhus have come. So for each one, there is a description given by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada is talking about each and every, like Parvat Muni has come, Narad Muni has come, Dhaumya Rishi has come, Badarayana, Vyasdev has come. So Prabhupada is speaking about each one of them. So we can imagine how much Prabhupada has given us, how much he has given us for each and every, so much details are there. This is not easy. Prabhupada is giving us nectar. We just have to lick it. But if you keep leaking from the outside of the bottle, then we'll not taste it. Means, yeah, we have this book, nice. We just, but you have to open it and read it. Then the nectar will come. Right? Okay. So we'll stop here and we'll continue from next week with another verse. But today we'll do some bhajan. Hare Krishna. So any question or comment anybody has? Okay. Let us do bhajan. Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe Radhe Govinda Radhe Radhe Govinda Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe Radhe Govinda Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe Radhe Govinda Shri Gurudev ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Yeah, we need him all the time.
You have to promise for every day, kirtan, long kirtans.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
We will do always. Okay, if you are here, we'll do kirtan.
Yeah, Brinda. Brinda, okay.
Yeah, you can.